Photo Shelter presents Vision Slightly Blurred. I'm Sarah Jacobs.
And I'm Alan Murabayashi.
Do you think when the creators of Instagram made the app that they anticipated a lot of the accounts basically stealing old images are doing a really good job at it and also getting a lot of followers?
I know, it kills me a little bit.
One of my favorites that I've been following for the longest time is do we have to bleep out Jerry?
We'll bleep it, don't worry.
Okay. Jerry is probably the most iconic account that has the most followers that has just been stealing content.
Since 2011, for whatever reason, people love following funny accounts.
Yeah.
And if you look at the history of Vine or you look at TikTok, all of the most successful people there were doing comedy. Mm-hmm. But so Jerry, started as memes or just funny photos. And it's just this guy, Elliot Tebele, who amassed an audience of now 14.4 million people and then created a media company because he was so successful with this called Jerry Media.
Yeah, so brands started approaching him, I believe, to be like, we want to advertise like through your followers. You have such a big following on this platform. Like, we want to pay you. And then he was like, oh, I could make a whole agency out of this.
And was charging between $30,000 and $75,000 a post. Ethical conundrum number one for me. Because I used to follow Jerry back in the day, and then I was like, you know what? It. I'm not following Jerry anymore. There's going to be a lot of bleeping
Jerry.
In this episode. It's one thing if you just get a kick out of curating stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's another thing if you start making money off of it. Because then you're literally making money off of someone else's content. But the crazy thing about Jerry is, turns out he was also, through Jerry Media, helping to promote the Fyre Festival. Remember the Fyre Festival?
Yeah.
2 documentaries made off of the Fyre Festival?
2.
One of which he helped produce.
That's right. Yes. Oh, God, this guy is so smart.
So earlier in the year, I think it was around February, Comedy Central pulled advertising from Jerry Media after he acknowledged that he's basically stealing content.
Took the guy 8 years.
And people had been complaining, comedians specifically had been complaining for years and years and years. And it wasn't until a big corporate entity that actually had power said, we're not advertising with you, did he then make a mea culpa apology. His only Medium post on his Medium account. But here's the thing that kills me. Okay, so he says, quote, effective immediately, we will no longer post content when we cannot identify the creator and will require the original creator's advance consent before publishing their content to our followers. Nowhere in it does he say we will license content.
Right.
All he says is we'll attribute and ask for permission.
Oh, God, it kills me. The captions are just like, posted with consent from, and I'm like, oh God, the word consent, I don't know. All of it feels icky to me. I'm like,
the challenge for photographers in this environment is, in social media, the currency is followers. To photographers, the currency is photos. There's a huge disconnect in the way that each group values photography or values a joke or values a meme or whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. Jerry doesn't care.
No.
Because he's all about those 14.4 million followers off of it. Another one that I actually started following, this is actually the one that I have the biggest conflict in my heart about. History Cool Kids.
Aw, this is a sweet account.
741,000 followers, so not even a million.
Okay.
So in terms of, wielding influence and being able to get $30,000 ad placements, not possible. Seems like they have a genuine interest in history. Here's the thing that kills me about it. The owner of the account is a really good curator of history and photography.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I'm pro sharing these images on Instagram, especially to follower accounts that are like, not an insane amount. They're probably not making any money. This is different than a Jerry situation.
But here's the problem. Right. To me, it's different when you take a historical photo from World War I and you recount some historical event.
Boring.
Versus posting a photo of some rock band from the 70s where the photographer is still alive and like trying to make a buck. Could the account exist if they properly licensed images? No, it's impossible.
No, it's so expensive.
Not for a daily.
One of my personal favorites accounts is a friend that runs his own. It's Trey Taylor. Something he does is he shares old celebrity photos. Mm-hmm. They're generally paparazzi photos. And he also does a lot of reporting for the caption. So he will pour over interviews from like People magazine seen from back in the day or rewatch old Oprah interviews, and then he'll piece together these really incredible stories. Another one that he works with is that I like that's stealing images is Velvet Coke. That is mostly paparazzi shots. One of my other personal favorites that's like stealing so many photos and putting them on product is the official Sean Penn.
It's not the actor Sean Penn.
Right. Sorry. No. She just writes the funniest captions, but then she'll put these pictures on like towels and sell them.
I don't want to brag. I have 2,000 followers, but I have done takedown notices, and Instagram does take them down. You can report a copyright violation. And in most cases, I've seen these posts taken down in, 48 hours or so. So then we get to the Fat Jewish. The Fat Jewish, in case you don't know this guy, he's a comedian, as far as I know. His shtick is to have his hair kind of like a Pee-Pee Longstocking where it's braided and there must be a wire in there because it like sticks straight up. He is good friends with Emily Ratajkowski, the model, who was famous from the Robin Thicke Blurred Lines. That was, her at 21, her kind of breakout role. But so she's buddies with the Fat Jewish. And the Fat Jewish launched a wine company called Wine Babe because the Fat Jewish has 10 million followers. He launches a wine company called Wine Babe with Emrata as kind of his spokesperson, right? Emrata sipping rosé wine in a swimsuit. Emrata looks great in a swimsuit. You see Emrata, whether you're a guy or girl, in a swimsuit drinking Wine Babe, you're going to want to drink Wine Babe.
Yeah.
So he's selling this stuff. And then earlier in the year, sold to InBev, which also owns Anheuser-Busch. So the parent company of Anheuser-Busch buys Wine Babe, right? The Fat Jewish is a guy, if I'm not mistaken, had also earlier in his career as a comedian guy, stealing content, right?
Yeah.
So here's the conundrum. You can say it's innocuous for these curation accounts to be posting this stuff, but their whole game is to amass millions of followers, then leverage it into something else that they're going to sell.
I mean, if they're smart.
If they're smart, yeah, they're idiots if they don't do it. They're idiots. I mean, it's interesting, you mentioned Trey. He's going through all of this research.
Yeah.
He's come up with like a really good caption, spending all this time.
Yes.
And then he just steals a photo.
Yeah.
It's like...
Right.
There's a disconnect in the way that people value photography because everybody feels like, I can go out there and take a photo, which, yeah, you can go out there and take a photo, but you can't take this historical photo. You have no way of taking that historical photo where only one person might have been there to take that photo.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
for the record, he values the paparazzi a lot.
Oh, I'm sure. But, saying I respect the paparazzi is different than paying the paparazzi, right?
Yes.
Saying like I respect the yellow cab drivers is different than actually taking the yellow cab instead of getting the Uber.
No,
right?
1,000%.
So there's choices where we have to vote with our wallet. Okay, well, if History Cool Kids comes out with a wine brand, all bets are off. I'm going to hunt them down.
That is just, oh God.
What accounts do you follow that steal content? And why do you follow them? Let us know by tweeting at us at PhotoShelter, or you can leave a comment on the blog at blog.photoshelter.com. We'll see you next time.